Hey, it's Adam here from ENTA Asks, and we are super excited. Today we have Saawan Logan on the show, and she is the co-founder of North Water, which is a local water company that is bottling Alberta spring water in reusable aluminum cans. So you're gonna wanna check this out. Hey, it's Adam and Kate here, and this is another episode of ENTA Asks, and we are super excited to be on site at North Water with our good friend and founder of North Water, Saawan Logan.
Hey, Saawan, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're
That's right,
We're
yeah.
here. Okay.
You're my guests.
I love your one-sentence elevator pitch. When I said, okay, what is North Water about? Hit me with it. You gotta tell these guys.
Yeah, so North Water is guilt-free hydration.
I love it. And I am guilt-free. I have been enjoying this bottle. It is so good.
So, what does that mean, guilt-free?
I was gonna ask, you never asked me what guilt-free means.
What? Like no calories?
Yeah. 0 calories, yes, 0 calories
Okay,
for sure.
good.
No plastic.
No plastic.
So no leaching of plastic in your water, and being able to drink out of something that's not going to stay in the landfills and the ocean way past our lives.
Right.
So aluminum bottles, the most highly recycled product,
Yeah.
and a product that actually pays for all the recycling in all of Canada right now. So that's the beauty of aluminum. You have recycling aluminum that makes so much money, the recycling component of it, that it allows you to recycle, to have recycling places that can recycle plastic, cardboard, and every other non-recyclables.
Yeah.
And how long has North Water been open?
March 2020. So
Whoa.
All right.
great timing.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. I bought a case, and it was so cool to be able to reuse the bottles. And it was just so neat to be able to give these to my guests when they called. There wasn't very many, but when they finally got over to visit me and say, "Here's your bottle for the week." Right?
Yeah.
And they would refill it, and they're like, "Where did you get this? Who is that? We need to. Where do I find this?" It's so cool. So I really like that. But we want to talk about your journey of getting to be the founder of North Water and the discovery, because you didn't always do this.
No.
No. So in fact, you worked for one of the major oil and gas companies.
Yes, I did. Yes. So I worked for, started my career in Canada with Cenovus Energy.
Yeah.
So I had just spun out from Encana, so another one of the biggest oil producers. And from there to TransCanada Pipeline, and I spent majority of my career there. And worked within the commercial realm with TC. And it was a great gig, no questions. It was secure, it was stable.
Yeah.
At least then it was stable and secure. I don't know if people feel the same about it today. It was great. Wasn't satisfying. There's something missing.
Yeah.
Right.
And we talk about this, and we know that a lot of those big companies, they treat their employees so well that it, like, to leave and risk it all. Like we talk about the golden handcuffs, right? Like you're there because it's just, they treat you great.
They do,
You're in it, and so you left these golden handcuffs and put on what we were joking, put on the aluminum shackles.
That's right, totally.
So, when did you decide that water was going to be your cause? Like,
So water was always an exciting part of my life. I grew up in Fiji. I was born there and raised there. So there's a lot of appreciation for the ocean and, salt water, obviously, not drinking water the same way. But in Canada, it all started off through my hikes, where the idea of being able to drink cold water out of a spring, a stream, which many would frown upon, it was so delicious. You're hiking, it's hot, and you drink out of the spring. Anywhere that you can find a river, like a stream running, it's clean, it's pure, it's crisp. And you always wonder, wow, how come the rest of the world doesn't know this? So, and when I say the rest of the world doesn't know this, I've had the luxury to work across Asia Pacific and to travel to numerous countries. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen water from Canada anywhere. So that seemed kind of like an injustice to what we have. We have beautiful water.
Right.
Yeah, let's not share it, right? So the world doesn't know that, hey, we've got better water than Fiji, Evian, and any other boss, name it, we've got better water than that. So that was sort of the bug in my head. But the whole idea of just putting such high quality water in something that would take away from the water itself, which is plastic, seemed like
An injustice.
it was an injustice.
Right.
Like how could anybody do that? How could you put something so beautiful, so great in something that actually was not just bad for the environment, but was bad for you and your product, the water you drink, because plastic leaches. So I kept looking for an alternative and didn't find one, looked at paper and I thought, okay, it's okay, don't need to pursue anything. And then I was in Fiji one year visiting my parents and learned that 75% of the fish in the ocean was inedible because of microplastics in them. And so that was an eye-opener to be like, where do these microplastics come from? This is a country with such a small population, and yet they don't have the ability to control what's in the ocean. And it's plastic bottles. They have bottles that float all the way from places like Germany. When you hear about the Pacific garbage dump, which is, that's a real thing, and it's coming all the way and it's polluting everywhere. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to do something about it. The demand for bottled water isn't going away. I see tourists in Fiji carrying bottled water everywhere. I've never not bought water when I'm traveling. Because no matter how safe it is at the taps, like my head doesn't go that way. I don't think about.
Yeah, you're just like, no, not risking it.
Well, you're on the go too. So
You're on the go, and you're not sure. If you're sensitive to water like I am, you're not really sure how you're going to react. So what do? You buy bottled water, and you buy in plastics. And so that's when the whole conversation around water and selling bottled water started all over again. And then I was in Japan a couple months later, and I saw aluminum bottles everywhere for coffee.
For coffee?
Really?
Yes, cold brew coffee.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like a cold brew.
Yes, and they have vending machines everywhere that sells cold brew coffee in aluminum bottles, and I'm like, bingo.
Yeah.
So now I just have to find somebody that's going to take bottles that are e-big to e-big.
Right.
And that search started, and that was April of 2018. By November 2018, I started actually finding people who could do aluminum bottles. And that's when the journey started to find a name and start the company. And May 2019, we had a name, Northwater.
Love it.
We had a design in our hands as to what it's going to look like. And we were sourcing equipment.
That's amazing.
So we talked about you give up these golden handcuffs for the aluminum shackles. Let's talk about entrepreneurship a little bit, because everybody says like, oh yeah, you can make your own hours. Yeah, you can.
All the hours.
All the hours, yes, all the hours and more.
Right?
Yes.
Tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I get the sense, Saawan, you've got a great job working in Calgary, and then you decide plastic bottles and water, that's gonna be the cause. So I feel like you don't do anything small.
I don't, you're right. I don't. I get teased by my friends a lot that I have really high energy.
Okay.
And I do. I do. I'm guilty of that. But I believe because I spend so much energy as well, and energy is one of those funny things. The more you spend, the more you have, right? So I think for me, it's in everything. If I put my energy and focus into something, I'm not going to put my energy and focus into something small. It's always something big. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
Well, how cool that this cause or this dream is happening right here in Calgary.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
How cool
Why
is
not?
that?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, when I say golden handcuffs to aluminum shackles, it's basically because, yes, pension, you're giving up pension, you're giving up bonuses, you're giving up steady, stable paycheck to start something that doesn't pay you, right? So there's that component of it. Like when you start a new business that is so capital hungry, that's just takes up every single thing you have, you don't pay yourself. And that's the journey of an entrepreneur. You give up your salary and your comfort and your paychecks to start something, to risk it all, and you don't get paid for a long time. And I'm the classic example. I haven't been paid in a while by my company, but I'm not doing this to get a payment today. I'm doing this for long term. Mm-hmm. And so when I say aluminum shackles, I mean that. I've got so much put into this. And it's not just financially, it's mentally, emotionally, physically. I've given it so much that they are shackles. I can't leave it. Mm-hmm. I'm also OCD. I have to see it to completion. Doesn't help.
Or does it though? Because you guys are, you're pushing hard and you're doing amazing things, and I just love the purpose behind what you're selling, and I think it's amazing. But you talked a little bit about it. It's emotional and it's straining on your mental health. You kind of talked about this a little bit. It's intense, right? The roller coaster. So what is it that, flips the switch? Like, you could be having the crappiest day in the world, but then something just happens and you're like, and that's why I'm back in.
Yeah, one of the things you start doing is you start looking for little wins, the small wins, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that small win is, a really nice message that comes on your LinkedIn because somebody really awesome decides to put something cool on there called Caitlin. It gives you a high five through LinkedIn, and you take that virtual high five and it lifts your spirit, right? As entrepreneurs, you look for those little nuggets, that kudos that someone gives to you, someone that calls you up randomly and says, oh my gosh, I love what you do. Yeah. Those words, even if they've probably never bought my product, they've just seen it and they love the idea of it, reassures why you exist. And it's all it takes is a little virtual high five or a little, wave that tells you that someone else is excited about it as much as you are. Sometimes for us, it's also things like a coffee shop comes through and says, yeah, I'd love to carry your water. I saw it somewhere and I love it. Like, it's tiny little things that are worth under $30.
Right.
Yeah, I've started noticing Northwater bottles in coffee shops and little boutique stores.
I love it.
Like,
go world domination.
Everywhere. And you always have to watch for the little maple leaf right there, which is fantastic, right?
Our first iteration actually didn't have maple leaf on it.
Yeah.
Which is strange because we thought, we're Canadian, we're selling Canada, but is it too much to put maple leaf on something to be like rah, 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 Canada? And when the bottle came out, we're like, no, it needs maple leaf because it's the stamp of approval, the Canadian stamp of approval, that we are Canadian, right?
Yeah.
And for me,
celebrate it enough.
We don't celebrate it. And we don't celebrate the responsible side of us as Canada. We're not just taking water away. We're not just doing things. We're doing them in a responsible way. And there's something to be proud of, right? When you do something in the best way, the world can actually do it.
Preach. And I think, I'm going to get down a rabbit hole here, guys, don't mind me. Like, we got to talk about this from every industry perspective. We have some of the most stringent environmental regulations, like whether it's oil and gas, whether it's water, you've lived that side of it too. We are doing it right. We might not be 100% perfect yet, but there's always room for improvement around the world. But when you compare us to like any other country, we are right up there at the top with what we do and how ethical we do it and how environmentally conscious we do these things. So we should be proud.
Absolutely, I agree. And I've had the luxury to work on a number of like CSR projects, that, the CSR reporting that we do, the corporate strategy reporting, corporate social responsibility reporting.
Okay.
For oil and gas companies. And you put so much into it. You put so much that shows not your efforts just for diversity and inclusion, but your efforts for the environment and everything you're doing to keep your practices sustainable and the little things we do. And as engineers, you know that better than I do. We strive for perfection, even though we may fall short of it. We still don't stop. No. We keep looking for ways of making it better for tomorrow. But you're right, there's no recognition and there's no kudos because we're so focused on what's not going right. Instead of saying, yeah, but if I put everybody else out there, the best in class is the best in class.
Well, I think this is such a great topic to get into. And I'm super excited for episode 2, where we're going to get into what it means to live your brand and, walk the walk. But in the meantime, how do we get a hold of Northwater?
So our website, drinknorthwater.com, lots of information there about us and where to find us. You can buy us online as well through that, through Shopify basically. And outside of that, if you live anywhere in Calgary, there's either Safeway, a Sobeys, or a Co-op that carries us. There's Lena's Italian Market that carries us. There's Fairmont Banff Springs. As you said, we're everywhere. DeVille's Coffee Shop, Analog, we're everywhere.
So watch for the maple leaf.
That's right. Watch for the blue aluminum bottle.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much.